We are back with part two with Zanegler, the Tesla semi-advocate. This time we are talking all things Giga Nevada, all things Giga Semi, or as some of my viewers love to joke with me, Giga iWes. Oh, I was upside down when I read it. My apologies. I've got Zanegler here himself. We are going to speculate some of the hotter questions that we don't know the answers to, but we think we just might. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So Zanegler, I appreciate you coming on. We have talked online for a long time now, but these two videos, part one is already up. These two videos are the first time we're actually talking in person. It's pretty cool. Good to see you.
Very good to see you, and thanks for having me back.
Of course. And so of course, if we're going to do this, we gotta get into some speculation. Let's start crazy. You've seen the size of this place. I don't know if you've seen, but I have posted pictures of other semi factories around the country. This one is substantially larger. Do you think 50,000 is the real limit?
I don't know. 50,000 is a heck of a lot of semis. It comes out to, if you take a few down days, that's like 100, 140, 150 semis a day. And, for a car production line, that's not that big a deal. But this is a semi production line. However, I don't know that it's any more complicated. Everything is just bigger.
Everything is bigger. Unlike the Cybercab, which will be unboxed, there is no unboxing of a semi. You need the structural element to be the length of a semi. That takes up a substantial amount of space. And really, 50,000 is 20-25% of total US semi sales. If you add in Mexico and Canada, it doesn't make it that much smaller of a number. It is a lot of trucks. And it's something like 40 gigawatt hours of batteries.
Yeah.
So if the factory can handle more than 50,000, my thought is it would be quite some time before not just the market catches up, but the batteries to also catch up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to think how many batteries that would take. And I just can't imagine the day that the sun rises over the eastern Nevada desert and there's 140 semis driving out of there a day. It's mind-boggling.
It is. It's crazy to think. I said the same thing before Cybertruck was released. I said, one of these days we're going to look at drone footage of the factory and just see an ocean of them like it's nothing. And yeah, that has happened. So it's very fun that way. Do you think they're going to make the Robo there?
I refuse to call it the Robo.
Me too. Me too.
Come on. I mean, that's equivalent to Target for Target. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think, I've gone back and forth on the speculation. The entrance way and the gray shading, and Tesla always likes to do branding on their buildings, and so a lot of times they're in themselves an Easter egg, as you know, and it sure looks like the Robo van, but the primary purpose of that building is producing the semi. Whether or not they could add the Robovan, I think they could, but I don't. As of today, I don't think the branding is the Robovan. I believe the branding is the semi, a stylized look, but it sure does look like the Robovan. The other thing is Tesla did say, I think it was in an earnings call, that they were going to build the semi and one other thing, and they've never said what the one other thing is. So there is a secret, there is something they're holding back.
And worth noting that the entrance the glass is shaped like a Robovan, but it is also shaped like a semi, and it is also in the shape of an Art Deco semi locomotive. So it is. You can read more into it any way you personally choose. I think you're right on that. Do we think that Tesla is? We know they bought battery equipment to make LFP batteries. We believe they were shipped to Nevada. Those came from CATL. The last rumor we heard was that CATL had sent their engineers over to help build the line, to reassemble the equipment, to make LFPs. If they're making LFPs, those could go into stationary storage, Megapacks, Powerwalls. Could they also, do you think, make a shorter range truck? Make a more of a 200, 250 mile truck instead of a 500 mile truck with LFPs from Nevada?
Well, I've done a little bit of research, and those CATL batteries are not cylindrical, they're square, and they're,
Yes.
I believe strongly, if Tesla hasn't said so, they are definitely being used in the Megapack, and I believe that's what that assembly line is for. Now, I don't think that LFP is appropriate for the Semi. I think the power demands are too high, and they said as much on that slide at Battery Day, where all the way on the right were the most powerful batteries, and those were for the Semi. But guess what? Now that I say it, I think the Cybertruck was over there too.
Cybertruck absolutely demands them. If you tried to make an LFP Cybertruck, the range would be unacceptable and the weight would be the
I think
same
the same is true for the
for the
for
Semi.
I also don't think the 4680 it has any. Think you've said it, and I love it. I think that's the last vehicle they'll put the 4680 in. The very last. They'll use it for every other vehicle before they do, because the 2170s work great.
They work great. They're tried and true. They're bulletproof. I know there were some people who were eager to get one of those 4680 Model Ys out of Texas when they first came out, but once you get in the car, you're like, well, now it's just a car. I'm just in a car.
Right.
And I've seen the same. I saw a number of people saying, I'm disappointed that the new Model Y doesn't have 48-volt architecture. Why? What difference does it make to the driving experience? It's once you're in it, it's just a car. It's like when I first got Starlink before fiber came down my street. I was so excited. I plugged it in. I'm like, oh, I'm just on the internet.
Right.
So,
And guess what? My Model S Plaid. Do I care that it's 18650s? No. When I hit the accelerator, it goes, and I don't care what size the battery is in that pack. I trust Tesla to put the right battery in the right vehicle at the right time.
yes. And with the 2170s, they're tried and true. We know they work. They've gotten a little bit better over time, which is remarkable because they were already very, very good. One bit of light speculation you've done, and this is not as exciting or sexy, is you believe that the one portion of the factory that doesn't have any cutouts in the roof might be the paint shop. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, that was from a reviewer, and one of the best things about posting these videos is people with more expertise in the narrow field of manufacturing, construction, painting, stamping machines. They all opine, and we get a lot more rich feedback. And so I think that could be a paint shop, but honestly, it's Section A, the far northwest section. I think that's the secret section. And I know that it's just that they really never let you see inside of it. And if you look at the renderings, there are big uh, vessels outside of them, cylindrical vessels. I can't think of why I can't think of the proper term for them, but that might be some where they're going to produce batteries or packs or something. But something strange is going on in there. Again, this could be with that wild speculation that I am embarrassed I said down the line when we see what's going on.
I think it's important to share such speculation, and I think it's valuable that you qualify it as such. And you do. You're very good about saying which things you know and which things you've heard or suspect, and I appreciate that. I did want to give a shout out to Desi Doolin, who's always on the ball with all kinds of pointers and updates on Joe's channel, on my channel. I imagine he's in your comments as well.
He is, and he'll tell you what section at what timeline. He'll point to the section that his comment relates to.
Desi, we appreciate you and your contributions to the community. It's very valuable. And the beauty is, the people who watch, every now and then, of course, I'll get flooded with very concerned people on accounts that are brand new and bringing up very tired arguments that make no sense to try and smear Tesla or the vehicles or the products or the employees or the engineers. And to them, I always say, look, that might work on another channel, but my viewers are very educated. They're probably 50% of my viewers are engineers or retired engineers who know a lot of technical things and don't fall for the BS. please spread that nonsense elsewhere because it ain't going to work here.
With respect to the semi, it's the diesel bros, and
Mm.
I mean, I love the look of a nice Peterbilt, but so I also think a nice horse-drawn carriage is attractive too. But boy, the
Yes.
diesel bros, they were sure that truck was empty, and even though I know it was filled with totes filled with water, because Tesla has no need to test empty trailers. And I even said once that even if I filmed the concrete blocks going up, they'd say they were styrofoam.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty
And so,
funny.
and some of them will. I know a number of long haul truckers who can't wait to get one of these. And what we've seen on the ground is that when a company has a couple of them, the drivers kind of fight over who gets it because it's so smooth, it's so quiet, it's so easy to drive, much like your Tesla. My Tesla's the easiest car I've ever driven. And that was before I got past version 11. Version 11, I wasn't super jazzed about. 13 is a treat.
Yeah, I echo that. If I had any communication with Tesla drivers, they would all unanimously. Their background is they had the cream of the crop, right? They could pick Tesla could pick the very best drivers for their semi program, uh, especially the engineering one where they're proofing and running up miles on these. And that's an amazing thing that they're dedicating the resources to drive, to have multiple semi drivers every day, 7 days a week, I think 3 shifts. That's quite the investment to make sure that it's a proven product, but they all love it. And what's not to love?
Now, one thing you and I had talked about a little in between shows was expansion possibilities in Nevada for new products, new any number of things. It could be more batteries, but it could be Optimus, it could be the Cybercab even. And one thing that dawned on me is the real obstacle to expanding in Nevada is a lack of people there. Well, that's improving, I assume, as more people do move there. You get more farmers markets and cafes and all the things you want. But what if we don't need people for the factory?
Yeah. And that's the big thing about the difference between the pilot production line. That is a cobbled together human. The most automation is a bridge crane, as I saw at the Tesla Semi event. But yeah, also I think Reno is some people underestimate Reno. There's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of everything you could possibly fine dining. It's not a bad area to live. And I've speculated, talk about speculation. I don't know what the cost would be, but if they put in a tunnel, a boring tunnel from Sparks to Tahoe Regional Industrial Center, not only would it bring Tesla employees in, that whole area could take advantage of it. And I-80, that section, there's no frontage road, there's no alternate. If there's a fatal, people can get stuck on that freeway for 4 or 5 hours at a time. It's no joke.
So if they were to expand the factory, they could just use Optimus to build stuff and free up the humans to do the more human things like problem solving, creativity, all that. Um, do you expect to see more construction uh, after this building is done? What are you looking at? Where do you think uh, the next structure is going in Nevada?
There are a lot of satellite buildings that Tesla leases in and around the area that they do secret stuff in, that they boring stuff of storing parts. There's a lot of those fulfillment center concrete buildings that surround it, and they lease a lot of those. So to me, the next big thing would be that original expansion of Legacy Giga Nevada. I would love to see that. And I think that would be for Optimus, for more batteries, and for whatever next is on their mind. But I think the other thing is laid on. I'm sorry, but the other thing I hope we get to is is the different form factors that the semi can take. And I think the panel van is a perfect opportunity for them to release a new version of. I think they'd have to expand the frame is all, and I mean yeah, and then sell that and let other manufacturers put the different bodies on it. And I think they could use the standard range battery pack because I don't think that needs that 550 miles of range. So I've always wondered why they didn't build more of the standard range. I've only seen 2 or 3 out of the 150 or so semis they've built. They didn't build very many of them, and I always thought they could build 3 for the batteries of 2. But they've got a plan, and they're focused on the long range.
And doing that, making them available to coach builders like that on a slightly longer frame, then you've got garbage trucks, you've got all kinds of different applications that, I mean, you could make a pretty fantastic luxury motor coach out of that. It would only cost, $1 million, which is what they already cost. So what are you worried about? The only thing I
Yeah,
know to expect from Tesla for sure is the unexpected. So what is that next project? I don't know, but I'm excited and curious to find out. And it's true that there are satellite buildings that we don't know about. If you look at Shanghai, the drone pilots were out there 3-4 times a week. And then one day, one of the pilots, Wu stumbled upon this giant building, which was exactly what you're describing, kind of like a fulfillment center, like a distribution center, where it was this huge existing facility that no one knew about because why would we? It's not the factory, and they didn't announce it. So there's always stuff going on, and it's exciting to see. Guys, do me a favor, if you would, head over to Zanegler's channel. He is not a semi-advocate. He is the semi-advocate. It is how we get our eye in the sky. We got to keep him happy, or, he'll just start shooting other things, like mountain goats. What was that? A ram, a bighorn. Yeah.
yeah.
That was fun, by the way. I appreciated seeing that. And if you guys get a chance to go to Giga Nevada, drive down the roads around it, you will see wild horses. They are the rats of the prairie. They are everywhere. And it's just kind of neat to see them. Do not approach them. They are wild animals. It is not a good idea. So if you have any questions, maybe we'll get Zanegler to come back and join us. There is a space below this video to leave such comments, and I'd like you to do that. Subscribe if you get a chance, but also subscribe over there. He has a lot of footage up on his channel that I'll never put up on mine because I need you to go there. We need to keep him happy. That's my objective. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do all the things you usually do. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.
Thank you, sir. It's been fun.